Service Life Labs has been hit with staffing shortages, leading to canceled appointments and the sudden temporary closure of several facilities in Victoria, BC. Michelle Hoad joins me now. She's the CEO of Medical Laboratory Professionals Association of Ontario. Michelle, good to have you on the program. Can you hear me, Michelle?
I can.
Okay, great. I want to make sure. I know you're in Ontario, but we know that what's happening in British Columbia sort of paints the bigger picture in terms of the concerns, and you've outlined these concerns regarding labor shortages and what that could mean, widespread across the country.
You're 100% right. So I think this is the worry that we thought was coming. We've been talking about this for almost 20 months now with our labor shortage that we're experiencing across the country, especially here in Ontario. But to hear that, Life Labs made some decisions to close some of their specimen collection centers is concerning. Concerning because the purpose of specimen collection centers was really to alleviate pressure off of our hospital labs. So as soon as we start thinking of removing those, we don't need more pressure back at our hospitals right now.
And the hospitals we know are already, majority of them are really operating, just they're some of which are bursting at the seams. When they're talking about pulling back some of these services, who's being affected, Michelle?
Well, based on that article, it appears that there were actually people that had gone to the location and were trying to get in. So these are our everyday people. These are people that get a requisition from their family doctor, that need to get blood work done, find the status of how they're doing, see if they have an infection. We definitely don't want to see that happen here in Ontario. So I think it's time we need to start paying attention to our health human resource problem across the country, but specifically in Ontario.
So what's the call to action then? I know that there's been, and where you are in Ontario, there's been push on the government to say, one, we need to ensure that we have more staff that's available. We know that the current staff right now have been working, very, very long hours, many of whom have not been able to take a day off, let alone have any vacation time. So looking at what the concern is in Ontario, but then broadening it to the concern across the country, what's the call to action?
So specifically here in Ontario, and actually it's a similar problem across all our provinces, we have a shortage of what we call medical lab technologists. Those are the ones that are interpreting our tests. There are not enough graduating out of our schools. Our programs are full. So the call to action is to have the government actually invest some money to help alleviate pressure when a student comes into a lab, and secondly, look at our rural and remote community. So, it's not a large chunk of money. We're talking $6.8 million. It's not a lot of money, but it could be just enough to get us over this hump that we're currently experiencing. We keep talking about the status of our labs and how our people are doing, and what has happened out on the West Coast is actually indication of reality. People are tired. They're retiring early. Now with the decision of vaccines, and that's definitely going to impact our staffing, we need to start acting now to address the shortage.
Have you heard anything from the government in Ontario on this?
So we've had one meeting. So we've started the conversation, and now we're just waiting on that second meeting. But I understand that things don't always move very quickly, but this is an issue where we need to move quickly. We can't afford to be on a corner and picket. We've actually got people in our labs that are working day and night to get results out. So we need some action from our government.
Michelle Hoad will continue to follow this story. CEO, Medical Laboratory Professionals Association of Ontario. Thanks as always for this, Michelle.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you as well.